Hello, welcome to another exciting episode of To the Edge. With us today we have women in the film industry, and we're going to see their insights. And with me as a co-host is Maria Nadapov.
Hello, everybody. Welcome.
All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to have everyone introduce themselves, and it's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Hi, my name is Carlin Fournier. I am a New England-based actress and voiceover artist who wishes to expand into producing and directing projects that have to do with great social issues.
My name is Morgan Duffy. I'm a makeup and hair artist. I have been doing films for about 2 years now, and I hope to expand out to some bigger films than I've been doing thus far. But film is pretty sweet, so.
My name's Rochelle Topping. I work on the production side of things, typically crew. I've done camera assistant, sound, script supervisor, pretty much any production job, you name it, I've done it.
My name's Anna Rizzo. I'm an actress in the New England film area, and I love just finding really strong, dimensional female roles, and I hope to just keep doing that for as long as I can.
Hi, my name is Erica Derrickson. I'm an actress, host, and producer here in New England. I had a film that went to Cannes. That was one of my biggest achievements. This summer, I also got to be in a scene with Melissa McCarthy and Tony Hale in Sandra Bullock's latest movie that filmed in Boston. I'm also the moderator of an online community of filmmakers, about 2,000 filmmakers strong. It's called Hollywood East Actors Group on Facebook. And film is my absolute passion, and using film as a nucleus for community building is really what I'm excited about.
Hi, I'm Ashley Amber Bottoms. I am a actress, radio personality, model, and activist. I have done everything from major motion picture to independent film. I am currently a co-host of a radio show in Boston, and I do a lot of reporting in the Boston area for my own show, Bottoms Up, Appetite for Discussion. I'm sorry, and I have been cast in some recent films lately, and I love the craft. I hope to do more.
My name is Tiffany Crosby, and I am an actress and comedian extraordinaire in Boston. Have a show coming up tonight, so we're really excited about that, and just love being part of all these dimensional films in the area, getting out there and meeting great new people, and trying to inspire others one day at a time.
Cool. My name is Candace Cummings. I am a producer of Perrant Productions. I am also an actress, a hair and makeup artist, and I love being involved in every aspect of film, from pre-production to post-production, and I'm very excited to be here today with everyone.
And Maria?
Maria Nadapov. I had the pleasure of working with all of these fabulous women who are here today. I am an actress mainly in the New England area. I have been doing mostly feature films as of late, which is really exciting. A few TV pilots and web series, and just love the craft, love to explore both drama, although recently comedy as well, and I'm hoping to do more of it.
Good, thank you. And though I'm not a woman in the industry, I am in the industry, and I'm a script supervisor on a film right now, and I've been working on scripts myself in addition to producing the series. So now, what we all have in common, and what you all have in common, is that you've been involved in independent films, and what can you tell us about that experience? Anyone can jump in.
Well, I'll say that you get a number of different experiences, both good and bad. But what I think the most important thing about being involved in independent filmmaking is the lessons that you are able to learn. Mm-hmm. Not only what others are doing or what things work, but what mistakes not to make or what mistakes to avoid for your own projects. I think it's also very inspirational because you see, other people of your own kind of age group and demographic, and you can see that you can accomplish the same dreams that they're accomplishing as well. So it's a huge effect.
I would like to add, recently what's making independent film so different these days is through the democratization of digital SLR cameras that now have video capabilities, anybody can make a film. Anybody can make an independent film. And what I've come to understand, it's really about assembling a powerful team of people who get things done. Because that's really what it comes down to. Independent film to me is really just like the ultimate collaboration, because you're only as strong as the people on your team. And that's why I personally, as I proceed in my career, what I'm really looking for most is just people that I want to work with and teams that I want to work with. And then when the stories, when everything comes together, that's the most important thing when it comes to independent film, are the people that are making it happen. Because we're not backed by sponsors. You know, these are not big studio projects, so we have a lot more creative freedom. But you know, there are a ton of challenges that go along with that.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I like the creativity. I've done both major motion picture and I have done independent film. And from my experience on a major motion picture, you're basically told what to do, how to do it, how long to do it, and that's it. Here's your check, go home. An independent film, you get to actually hobnob with the team, and you can pass along ideas. If something is supposed to be said one way and you feel your character would say it a different way, especially if you're not getting a paycheck for it, they are very open to any suggestions because they know that you're trying to help the film. And they tend to be more open and accepting of changes and willing to work with you, and I find that to be a big plus, because as an actress it helps me grow for when the major motion pictures do come around.
I'm just going to add to what she said about the creative freedom, and as the hair and makeup person, you always, you know, you're taking direction from the directors and the producers and, you know, people who have written the film and have the vision, but you kind of get to put your own spin on things a lot of the time. It's not very cookie cutter like you would have on a major picture. So, you know, that's really cool for, you know, from my and Candace's perspective. And yeah.
You have much more room to play, I would say, on independent film platform. And I think also when you're talking about independent film, you have to throw in there most of the student films, Emerson, all the all these fantastic kids that come out of these schools and they have ideas and they want to make this film, and I love working with them because I'm like, who knows, this kid's going to be a great director one day, or you know, and it's also a great place to start for people in the industry who are just starting, because you're allowed to make mistakes, you're allowed to, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect, and like you said, there's a lot of room to play. You can suggest things because sometimes they think they want something and you say, let me give you another approach at that, or give me let me give you another take, you know, on this, and it's less strict than on a big feature film.
Definitely.
Yes.
I would also have to say, if I may, that the professionalism on independent films, you know, when you start out doing something like this, you're not sure what you're kind of really getting yourself into, and you're like, I don't know, it's this kind of film, I don't know what it is, but sure, I'll audition, and you get in, and these people are just so kind and they're so knowledgeable, and they want to share all that knowledge with you, which is great. Whenever I'm on set, and I just want to be the sponge, and I just listen for everything that's coming around. You know, what are you getting set up over there? You know, what, you know, fixtures do you need here? What angle are we doing? What millimeter lens do you need? All that stuff, so you just hear all the, not to sound corny, but hear all the magic happening around you that you've been wanting to do for so long. And it doesn't have to be a huge film to have that happen. It can be a feature film, a student film. It doesn't have to be a huge motion picture. And it's really, really riveting and inspiring, and gives you, you know, feet to stand on and say, this is right, this is what I am supposed to do.
Yeah.
If I may, one thing that I've heard my fellow women here saying, and that I completely agree with, is that independent film provides an extraordinary opportunity for growing as a person and as an artist. A lot of times, you know, you'll go into a film thinking that you want to do one thing, like, oh, I want to be an actress. And then you come out of it 2 or 3 projects later and you're like, wow, I really want to produce. I really want to make things happen. And Carlin also touched on the fact that what makes New England and Boston specifically very unique for people, actors or filmmakers, especially just starting out, is the saturation of schools in Boston. You Emerson, Harvard, BU, MIT, I mean, the list just goes on, and the great communications and film programs that these schools have afford anybody who has the desire and discipline, who wants to get into this industry, to really get out there, get their hands dirty, get some experience, and really just learn. So independent film provides an extraordinary opportunity for anyone with a dream to participate in any part of the filmmaking process to actually get out there and make it happen.
Get a taste of it
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
And I agree. One more. I totally agree with the fact that if you're starting and you might think, I really want to act. That's what I want to do. You get on set, and on an independent film, you can totally realize that, lighting fascinates me, or directing, or producing, and so it's easier on that set to play around with that.
Yeah.
You would not be able to go onto a studio set and help them, tweak the lights.
Nobody's asking you for anything on a studio set.
You're not even allowed to talk on one of those sets, so never mind suggesting things.
The cool thing is, on an independent film set, there's more opportunities for you to try different things
wear
and to
different
find your
hats.
place.
Yeah, you can
I mean,
definitely wear
Carlin
different
here,
hats.
she's one of the most, I would say, hardest working, most powerful, valuable people to have on set, because not only is she's an actress, but she's a very, very, I don't want to say powerful, but she's a producer who can really make things happen just because of who she is, and she's a very valuable person to have on set because of that, on an independent film set.
I
would
didn't
just-
pay her to say that. I said
We'll settle it after.
I just like to add to everything that has been said so far. I find in my personal experience that actually on an independent film set, because of the challenges that I know Erica mentioned, some of you mentioned as well, a lot of times it's actually remarkable the amount of energy that you have that it generates because of the lack of funding and the lack of equipment, and a lot of times literally needing to almost make miracles happen. That belief and that energy unites everybody to come together and become much greater than the sum of the individual parts becomes much greater than any one contributing factor. And I just find that energy and what can come of that effort is phenomenal. I mean, it really does move mountains, and that's probably the most exciting part for me, being involved with those kinds of projects. And I also find that oftentimes they're just more interesting and unique and more engaging, more motivational than some of the, at least in my experience, some of the big budget stuff that comes through. It just feels kind of regurgitated and kind of been there, done that, not so interesting. But there's really a lot of unique and great stuff coming out of particularly the Boston area, but I would say New England in general, because of, again, the schools and everything like that. What do you ladies find to be your maybe favorite part of that experience, in addition to what we've talked about, or maybe not, or maybe your least favorite part, whichever way you want to go with it?
Well, one of the things that really drew me into filmmaking in general was specifically because everyone has to work as a team, and that everyone has their specific job that they're really good at, and that they're kind of the master at on the set. And it really requires everyone to work independently, but to collaborate and to voice, and to really discuss where you all see the different aspects going. And because everyone kind of comes in with something that they do really strongly, but through that cohesive effort, you do kind of expand and find yourself, growing in different ways and learning about different pieces of it and different elements of it, and getting appreciation for jobs that you didn't necessarily know a lot about. And I love, whether it's just simply talking to another actor about the scene and hearing how they interpret the scene as their character versus how you interpret the scene from your character's eyes, and vice versa, and having that kind of growth stimulated by the teamwork, or just hearing what the lighting person is seeing, or what the costume designer is seeing, and how their take on the script kind of changes and adds to what you've seen and develops what you've seen into so much stronger than what you would have had just simply as your individual self.
I think you're definitely a piece of the puzzle, and you're only as good as your co-star. If your co-star is not there, then it's very hard for you to be there. So you're relying on your co-star. You're only as good as your co-star, and you only look as good as the director and the lighting people will make you look. So it's definitely an ensemble, to.
I agree with Carlin very much so, because everyone, Anna as well, because everyone is seeing something different. We've got people all over this room or the place you're shooting at, and everyone's seeing the actress or actor differently. and everyone has to come together and make it look like one
Perfect.
cohesive, perfect piece. You know, and it's really neat because of that. You know, everybody could, you know, here's a suggestion here, here's a suggestion here, just to everyone's collaborating to make it perfect, and you really make a better project with, you know, everyone knowing their own thing, but also coming together to make one.
Yeah, technically and visually.
And the thing I've always found fascinating is how it's always different. The way on every set everyone comes together in a different way, and it's always new and fresh and exciting. And I've always found it fascinating to see how much it just varies.
And no egos. Nobody has an ego in an independent film. Everybody works
Together.
for the film. The film is the primary focus. You know, it's not about bettering yourself or looking better than the person next to you. It's about the film, and that's what I like. I like the whole aspect of everyone's come together for one common goal, and that goal is the film, to put out the best piece of art they can so that everybody moves forward, not just certain individuals. And in my workings in film, in independent film, I've worked with directors who have said, you know, thanks to my wonderful cast, I mean, the cast praises the crew. Nobody leaves anybody out. You know, it's like one big pat in the back for everybody, which is actually really cool. And that's what makes me want to do a lot of more independent work, because it's a good feeling on the set, and that's what inspires me to want to do more. Inspires me to want, like she said, to produce, to do my own thing, because I see how good it. You know, my experience on independent film is very positive. I'm not saying that my experience of major motion pictures isn't. It's just a whole different thing. It's a whole different world. I mean, on a major motion picture, you're talking about, you know, a crew of hundreds, just, you know, people running around, tripping over each other. You sit down in the wrong spot, you could mess up the set. Everything is just so crazy that you won't even walk. and you know, like I said, it's just night and day. And I love that everybody works together for one common goal, which is really the best thing about film.
Yeah, it's incredibly rewarding.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I have to say, the one thing that I'm finding the most is the imagination behind it. The fact that a film started from a thought. You know, it takes you back to your childhood from when you got to play pretend. But with film, you're not playing pretend. You're actually taking that fantasy in your head, and not only are you making it happen, but you're sharing it with other people. And so from something so small of you just thinking, oh, wouldn't it be cool if, all the way down to, you know, a team coming together, producers, makeup. I mean, it's amazing that, you know, you can simply wake up one morning and say, I'd really love to see this on film. And the next thing you know, you have all of these people behind you saying, yeah, we want the same thing. So it takes you back to almost that innocence of your childhood when no one told you were wrong, and you could really do and put out there whatever you want to put out there. And it's limitless. That's what's even better. It's an infinity of ideas.
I just wanted to say that the best thing about independent films is, with a regular studio film, people reject the ideas all the time. And then with an independent film, you're inspired, you want to do this idea, and no one is there to say no.
Exactly.
And so it's like a dream come true, and with a smaller crew, it's more of a community feeling.
And with Hollywood, they tend to stick with a certain formula. Independent film, the stories are just so much diverse. There's just, you can't go wrong. I mean, in major motion picture, they're worried about, you know, every little detail. I mean, they're willing to put money behind, like Friday the 13th, Part 85. She's doing with the adult diaper, you know. And instead of something new and original, and you have all these people that come up with these original ideas. Great film, great cinema. I've covered independent film festivals, and you watch some of the stuff, anything from short film to a 2-hour film, and you see an idea, you say to yourself, why isn't Hollywood doing something like this? And you find out that they usually turn half these kind of ideas down in favor of putting a sequel.
Life
you know,
of Pi.
you know, the same thing with a number after it. And I find that that's actually killing the cinema world. I think that's why, you know, I think Hollywood is too scared to take a risk lately. That putting a number after it is just the easy way out. It's a way to just, you know, okay, there's a name, people know it, we'll make some money. And it seems to be about that. But with an independent film, people are saying, I have an idea, and I want to bring this idea to life, and there's nothing's going to deter me from that. And it's just some of the stuff I see people coming out with in the plots of these films is just, I just always think, I'm like, why isn't Hollywood jumping on something like this? Why isn't somebody that's getting paid the big bucks coming up with this idea? Because that's what they're getting paid for. It's somebody usually going to school for it that's coming up with this really brilliant idea. And it amazes me. And just when I see independent film, I just know that it not only is going to be the freedom to do what you want, the creativity, but it's the story. The story is just going to be something that is probably going to floor me. That, you know, like I said, why isn't this in a Hollywood production somewhere?
If I may build on what she just said, I think one of the biggest differences between, say, a Hollywood film or an independent film is that, I mean, Hollywood is run as a business. Every project, it's a business deal. It's an investment, and Hollywood is risk averse. They want to know that they're making safe investments, and that's why we get a lot of entertainment that is sort of like catering to the masses, and it's like the safest investment for the safest return, you know. And I think with independent film, there's a lot more risk. I think there are a lot of people willing to take more risks because it's not about the money. It's about the art. It's about just the need to just do it.
The passion.
The passion.
The
you know,
vision.
it's not a business. It's not a business transaction. It's more of a what is
vision.
it? It's more like a vision coming to life and just making it happen. It's not a matter of resources. It's a matter of resourcefulness. You know.
And I think a lot of us who's been doing it for a while, getting involved in independent film in the Boston area. This may vary for someone who's just walking into this, but a lot of us have been doing this for several years, and the reason we're still in it, it's because you get that feeling that you're part of something. You're part of, you know, someone wrote this movie, and it's not your typical money maker, you know, big movie that's going to come out. Maybe it is, but you're part of something that's, I don't know, I feel like when I'm on an independent film set, I'm like, I want to talk with the director. I'm like, what's the vision here? Let's make this happen. You know, let's take that movie out there. Let's promote it in festival. And I think this is fabulous. This is fabulous.
And you know, to go along with what Carlin said, you know, just what I love about this career path that we've all chosen is that it's just, once you're on set, it's just such a high. It doesn't matter what set you're on, who you're on it with. I mean, I've worked in this very room where there's been a person on a rolly chair holding a camera, trying to get everything going and all that stuff. And, you know, where there's been like a three-man skeleton crew, and you kind of, you know, do the slate yourself and you run in, and, you know, stuff like that, where you just, it's all for the team. Everybody's in it together. And the high is just what this is, you know, whenever I have a moment where I'm like, oh, you know, I don't know if this is really what it's supposed to be and this is what's supposed to happen. I remember that day I step onto that set, and once I can be with all those people and just the joy that comes out, and knowing that by being a part of this, that joy is just going to spread.
Yeah.
So now I want to ask you, a lot of you have been actresses and some of you have been crew, and do you feel that acting in an independent film is different than acting in a regular studio film?
Absolutely.
Oh, hell yes.
Absolutely.
And how do you channel yourself when you're acting? How do you prepare for a role?
It depends on the role. It really does. I mean, you just can't turn around and say, okay, you know, I'm going to act this way, because like I said, sometimes I'll read the script or my part and I'll say, I want to change something. So you read it and then you start to develop that character, and then you're the one that's got to understand this character. So, I mean, for me to say I prepare every role the same way, I don't. Everything's different.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Please, go ahead.
I was just going to say, if it's a typical role, in my case, I do a lot of crying role, depressed, grieving, whatever. That you just, you know, for me, I will just visualize myself as that person. My God, I just found out my husband died or something. That's A. B, sometimes you're thrown a role that you have no idea what that person is like schizophrenic, and I Am Monroe. So for me, I get online and I do research. I watch videos. I look at people that are schizophrenic, the way they talk, the way they act, and I try to incorporate that with the choices that I will make the day of, or, you know, in the week leading to me playing that role. That's how
We're the detectives.
I-
We're the detectives of our characters. You know, it's up to you to make that backstory, that moment before that's going to bring you there at that moment and say, this is what my intention is. This is the tactic that I'm trying to use. This is how I'm going to go about getting what I want in this scene or what my character wants in this scene. But it's also weaving you into it a little bit and the way that you bring things to the table, because, you know, everybody has different ways of doing everything. You know, you can look at somebody and say, wow, that was so powerful. I really wanted to get it just like she did, but you can't. You bring what you, where it calls to you, where the character calls to you is what you have to bring to the table and what makes your passion fly.
I think preparation, and what I'm enjoying listening to is how everyone has these different methods of prep, because there is no one way. And what I enjoy the most about preparing for a role is you really have to find it within yourself and say, okay, on a daily basis, I am not this person, but if I were to be, what would I do? Or you can even figure it out, because everyone has all of these small little roles within them that they all wish that they could act out in a film scenario. And so you get to dig in and say, okay, this is really uncomfortable and this is really strange, but I just got to go for it. And you do your research. I don't know how to be schizophrenic, so you do your research.
And
You
stay
find it
out of
within
your
yourself.
head.
Yeah.
Stay
You
out of your
stay out of
head.
your head. But I think what's most key is once you're in that role and you're in that character, you genuinely have to be present and in that moment, because your audience will read you if you're not. And if you really aren't upset about someone passing away in your life, whether it's true or false, no one's going to believe you, and you're not going to be believable. And that's what they want to see. They want to see that genuine emotion, that honesty. So it's not always comfortable, and preparing for a role is sometimes it really stinks.
As
Sometimes you just cry for days.
It's awesome.
No, it's amazing. It's amazing.
As the hair and makeup person, I'm one-on-one with these actors and actresses, and seeing them get into character, especially like the day of, is so interesting for me, because you see them kind of go, say they're playing a sad role, you see them go from coming to set happy, and then they're getting sadder, and they're digging, trying to find this character and finding that emotion. I know, I've worked with Carlin on this project I'm on right now, I Am Monroe, and she had to play a schizophrenic woman, and she is, you could tell she was just building it up, and she's trying to hear voices, and she's getting ready for the role, and she came on set very happy and left set happy, but in between she's just, you can tell she's getting very concentrated, and it's cool to see these people, as I'm transforming them into the character, really turn into the character they're playing. So
I have to say that her scene in I Am Monroe is my favorite scene in the film so far.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say what that scene is, but it is my favorite scene.
spoiler alert,
But,
it's gonna be great.
I'm going to have to wrap up the episode, but we will continue this discussion in the next installment. Thank you for watching To the Edge.